Everybody, welcome back to the stunning Grand Wailea here in amazing Maui. And I have a fellow Pennsylvanian here with me, Bob Atwell. How you doing, big guy?
Doing well. How are you, Seth?
It's good to see you, man.
It's good to see you as well.
I always appreciate our friendship. It's always good to talk to you. And yeah, I hate to say it, but go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds. So your session focused on data, and data in our industry is becoming so important. What kind of perspective did you bring to that?
So it was great. So there were three panelists on the session, right? Joseph Lansdale, Kevin Gill, and myself. The three of us had, we were at different phases of data integration into our organizations. Menold's being at the foundational level. We aspire to collect data the way Joseph does and the way Kevin does, excuse me. Sitting in that session, hearing the pitfalls and the troubles they went through as they developed their software, kind of brought about a few ideas, right? Don't bite off more than you can chew, right? Focus on one piece of software or one process. The data that provides will measure your success, right? And, if you can't measure it, you're never going to do better, right? So we, in our organization, we have a bunch of labor hours, that sort of thing. But are we actually tracking that to the production that's happening on the shop floor or in the field? Not as granularly as we need to improve certain aspects of the business. So, seeing them through their journey as we start on our journey was really valuable.
Now, we talked, but we were kind of talking for this. You're looking toward a kind of your own bespoke solution. Like, how did you get to that? Because there's a lot of off-the-shelf stuff out there. Like, how did you decide that customized solution was the best fit for Menold?
A lot of failures, right? And Jeff Sample talked a little bit about this. As you start down this road, you get so much incoming from software, providers and different solutions. This is going to solve your problem. And you kind of go wide on that, right? This design piece, right? You're going to take a shot at different pieces of software, and you have to be okay with failure. You have to say, you know what, we went down this road, we paid the subscription fee for XYZ software, it's just not cutting it for us. And you have to be okay with cutting ties with that, right? So we went through those stages with several different pieces of software. And for our organization, we realized that none of them really worked entirely for us, right? Some of them had really good aspects in financial management or cost tracking and other workflows, but they were never, they never covered everything. So what we ended up doing is we decided to fall back and punt a little bit. And we hired a developer, and we said, look, here's our process, right? Here's what we need to do, and here's what we need to improve on. So what we ended up doing was building our own, phase one is where we're at right now of our Microsoft Power Apps, right? We already own Microsoft products, right? We have the entire suite, so why not take advantage of it? So what we started with, in our phase one was the back office stuff, right? Taking out a quote number, taking out a job number, moving to order input into the fabrication shop, giving some visibility to our shop foremen and our project managers on statuses. Your shop fabrication's in backlog, or it's on the floor, or it's complete, or it's ready to be delivered. So that's our phase one. Our phase two is going to move into more project management things, right? You look at some of the out-of-the-box software solutions, and they're big and they're huge. And in a lot of ways, we look at them and say they're really great for general contractors. But we're a specialty metals contractor, and in fact, we're only about 30 to 40% HVAC. So 60 to 70% of our work is specialty metal fabrications, where a piece of software like Stratus, great piece of software, but it really wouldn't work for our process because we do such a small segment of ductwork. So we finally decided to build our own.
And I love the panel, the way it's constructed, because you guys are in three different spaces, like McCusker and over the Joseph Lansdale shop, a lot of duct fabrication. You guys are kind of nice little kind of hodgepodge. You do some duct, but you do a lot of specialty work, and
Yeah.
it's great to have that perspective that there's one size does not always fit all.
Yeah, I think if we were to look at all the SMACNA contractors, there's these great firms like McCusker Gill and Pointer, but the large majority is probably smaller family-owned sheet metal shops, right? That might not be able to absorb some of the costs of these big softwares and so on and so forth. So for us, we are a family-owned business. For 78 years, we're going into our 4th generation, and ductwork is a small part of our workload. So while we've worked on projects and worked with like a software like Stratus, I've mentioned them a couple of times, a great piece of software, it didn't make sense for us. But the specialty piece, right? The structures we make, the pharmaceutical components that we make, most of the time they're one-offs. This is not, we're going to make the same thing, hundreds of them every year for the next 20 years. We really don't have that. So we need to have a little bit of flexibility. So we kind of pulled back and said, what processes happen for both ductwork and our specialty fabrication? And that's what we need to focus on. Our purchase orders, our procurement, our project tracking, and kind of leave the rest for others.
And especially in Menold's business line, like your portfolio, so like you talked about, you'd be working pharmaceuticals in 1 minute, next time you're working on a sports facility over in South Philadelphia, and it's just kind of, I think having that kind of inherent flexibility with any solution, I think is key. And like you said, majority of SMACNA is these small family contractors who probably have a portfolio maybe a little similar to you, depending on where they're at in their growth journey. So it's kind of a great thought process there.
Yeah, and I've always kind of said, you come to these things and you get all this great information from these really big contractors and some of the smaller contractors, but you always got to come in, you take what applies and you leave the rest behind, right? Because there's always good morsels in everything they have. What Joseph does and the way he tracks production, and Kevin, I can take some of that and use some of that. I might not be able to take it all because we're not the same type of company, but I can use that in our business.
Well, this has been awesome, Bob. Thanks again. I mean, like I said, I always learn something when I talk to you, even though I'm never a data geek, never going to be a sheet metal guy, but I always definitely learn something from you. So thanks a lot so much.
Appreciate it, Seth.
Thanks,
Thank you.
man.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.